My purpose today is to talk about the future of paleo. And without a doubt, it's clear that the paleo, the ancestral health movement, has been growing recently. And we can see that here, for example, with Google searches for the term paleo diet since 2010. They've really taken off. We also have a number of New York Times bestsellers, something like over a dozen now, and here are two of them. And of course, there are now paleo guides for dummies and idiots out there as well. And the paleo movement has also received more acceptance within the mainstream medical community with things like the Paleo Physicians Network. Paleo movement has also appeared on the Dr. Oz show once last year and again this year, so twice. And there's some empirical data to back this up as well. I ran an online survey about a year ago of the ancestral health community, and it showed that 85% of participants had been doing this less than 3 years. So that's a big chunk of people. So lots of people have joined the movement recently. But what about the future? Where are we headed? What's going to happen next? And that's what I want to talk more about today. So my major argument is that the paleo movement will grow modestly, but it will not go mainstream. That it will remain a fringe movement with a group of highly devoted followers. And the reason for this, I believe, is because of three major obstacles. I'm going to call them cultural obstacles, physiological obstacles, and social obstacles. So to proceed, I'm going to talk about each of these three obstacles in turn and wrap things up with a conclusion at the end. So the first obstacle, cultural obstacle. My main argument here is that Neolithic foods are tightly woven into the fabric of our culture. So tightly woven, in fact, that I would argue that it's no exaggeration to say human civilization was literally built on Neolithic foods. And this is no accident. This is no coincidence. Neolithic foods allowed for the development of civilization. Things like the accumulation of wealth, greater social hierarchy, new forms of technology, and other things. So in other words, human civilization was literally founded on and continues to be based on grains, legumes, and dairy. So without this is early agriculture, you wouldn't have that. That, of course, is the Austin beautiful skyline. So my point here is that it's going to be really hard to remove grains, legumes, and dairies from our daily lives. Much harder than people realize. And I want to give a couple examples of this. So first, think about the importance of bread within Christianity. The Lord's Prayer says, "Give us this day our daily bread." Or we can think about the importance of matzah in the Jewish holiday of Passover. And let's think about the centrality of rice in Asian cultures. And what about Latin America and the importance of corn and tortillas? Or let's bring it a little closer to home. Can you imagine a wedding without a wedding cake? Or a ball game without a hot dog? And how could we live without mom's apple pie? Now, I know there are paleo substitutes for many of these things. But my main point is that Neolithic foods are deeply woven into the fabric of our culture. And thus, it's going to be really hard to remove them, to get rid of them.